What can Salesforce admins do to help protect customer and business data?
Awesome admin!
Welcome to How I Solved It, where we dive into a business challenge and show how one awesome admin chose to solve it. I'm Jillian Bruce, Principal Admin Evangelist at Salesforce, and today I am joined by awesome admin, Tony Nguyen. Welcome, Tony.
Thanks for having me, Jillian. I'm so pumped to be here.
Oh, I am pumped to have you here, Tony, because today we are talking about a very important topic for any organization, security management. But before we get going, I need to quickly share our forward-looking statement. This is a reminder to make all purchasing decisions based on currently available technology. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get started. When we talk about security management in the context of the Salesforce admin role, we're talking about the processes we use to manage and protect data. Tony, you're a Salesforce admin with over 2 years of experience in the Salesforce ecosystem, and you've got a lot of knowledge about security management. What are some things that admins can do to ensure proper security within their org?
Yeah, Jillian, there's a couple things an admin can do. First, as an admin, it's really important to maintain the Salesforce security model, including things like roles, profiles, sharing rules, and permission set. Second, you should also regularly perform a Salesforce health check and implement field-level security with the least privileged access mindset. Last, always ensure that your Salesforce implementation adheres to the corporate security standards, and that way you can complete regular internal system audit and prepare for any system upgrades.
Really great points, Tony. So another thing that I know and you know about is that admins work with a lot of different teams, right? You're at the center of the business. So you're working with sales, marketing, finance, you name it. But I think one of the most important partners is the IT department. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so many admins work very closely with their IT team in an effort to ensure Salesforce security settings are aligned with company compliance needs and policy. Our Salesforce team is actually part of the IT team. The ultimate goal here is to avoid any potential security breach and protect our organization from unauthorized access.
Super important, Tony, especially because when you're working with a lot of important data in Salesforce, right?
Yeah, that's right. We have such a powerful platform at our fingertips with a lot of customer and business data. So it's important that we as admin work hard to promote a culture of positive security controls.
As the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. Now, I know you've got an awesome demo that outlines a recent business challenge you faced and highlights some of the security tools you used to solve this challenge.
Yeah, I do. Let me show you how I solved it. So in my organization, we broke down security management into internal and external security. Internal security is all about making sure that our internal teams, like our escalation team, were having access to the right data. And the external security are things like for this whole Salesforce system is set up to protect against outside threats. Our IT team was really concerned about the external security. So the first thing I thought about when trying to figure out how to make my IT team happy was the health check. I realized there was some easy password policies that I could update to improve my score, such as the attempt logins. So as you can see here, we have 94%. But being an awesome admin, I feel like we can bump this up a little bit, right? So let's change that password policies from 10 to 3. And then, boom, we're at 96% now. We're almost there.
That's awesome, Tony. Hey, I'll take all those percentage points that we can get, right? So that's a great quick win. Now that you've made your IT team happy, what about the escalation team's security concerns?
Well, the escalation team was worried that some of the sensitive data being collected when working with a customer wasn't being locked down properly. They had some suspicion that some nosy users was poking around and finding things they really shouldn't. So that's when I decided to use a dynamic action and dynamic page layout.
That's a really interesting idea, Tony. I don't usually think about using dynamic actions and page layouts as a way to limit the data that's visible. So show me how you used them this way.
Yeah, for sure. But are you ready for this?
Oh, Tony, I am.
All right, here we go. So first, I built a dynamic action that only appears when the user has a customer support profile. That means only customer support reps can see this button and create this escalation records, preventing anyone else from creating this escalation.
Ooh, a secret access button. I love it. So what happens after a support rep clicks that button?
So after the support reps enter the data and they click the button, a escalation record is created. I set it up so that escalation managers get a automatic notification right in the app or via email to look at the new escalation records and see what's going on.
All right, cool. So anyone can just get into that escalation record and see all the details of what's happening with the customer, right?
Well, no, that's not what we want, right? So here's where I use dynamic page layout to set up a custom visibility to the most sensitive data, locking down a bunch of fields in a section so that only those with escalation manager permission can see this data.
Aha, I see. Nice move. So I really like how you use the visibility settings on both the fields and whole sections to kind of lock that data down. Now, we should note, since we are awesome admins, that if you've got a super nosy user, they could still potentially build a report to see that escalation data. But Tony, I doubt you've got many users who build reports.
Yeah, well, as much as I wish our users was report builders, we aren't really quite there yet. That's why using visibility settings on these fields really work well for my situation.
Got it. Okay, so back to your solution. What else have you built to help solve your escalation management issue?
Yeah, so being an admin and doing this work, I realized that there was more I could set up to help ensure that the escalation data was being protected. So at our company, we rotate escalation managers every 90 days to help balance out the workload and give our team some non-escalation time. That means I need to update the permissions for our escalation manager each time they switch out. This is kind of a pain, and if I forget, that means we have a potential security issue. Being an admin, we have a lot of tasks and daily things we have to remember. So having the system do some of those tasks for us is always a great time saver. So that's when I use permission set group to automate this for me. With the permission set groups, I can set up a expiration date. So when escalation team rotates, their permission automatically get adjusted.
Boom, Tony, that is some next level awesome adminning. I am impressed. But hang on, before I let you end the demo, you showed me a Screenflow earlier when we created that case. Can you show me your flow?
Well, Jillian, I feel like being a Flownatic, I shouldn't be sharing my secret with you, but since it's you, it is a super simple Screenflow that triggers when the reps click the button, and all they have to do was fill out those information, those two fields that we saw earlier, and that's when the record get created.
All right. Well, thank you for showing me your flow, Mr. Flownatic. And thank you so much for showing this great solution for your internal and external security concerns. Tony, thank you for showing us how you solved it. Tony, you did a lot in that demo. You wove together health check, dynamic actions and pages, permission set groups, all in one seamless story about security management. Now, that demonstrates that you are a very talented problem solver. Problem solving is at the heart of every awesome admin. Do you have any best practices to share with other admins looking to solve business problems?
Yeah, so I have a few tips here. First of all is communication. Communication, and I'll say it again, communication, because it's very important to know how to communicate with your stakeholders. Once the communication is established, this helps with the relationship and this helps with collaboration within the stakeholders. And then 3, be open. Listen what they have to say, what their issues are, because we're here to help bridge what they're trying to accomplish with Salesforce.
The idea of being a bridge is perfect way to encapsulate what it means to be an admin. Now, I talk to a lot of admins here in my role at Salesforce, and one thing that all admins have in common is that they love to learn. They have a true learner's mindset. Tony, do you have any suggestions as to how current and aspiring admins can learn and stay up to date with Salesforce?
Yeah, I think the most important of all is, fall in love with learning. Continues, looking for ways to increase knowledge by yourself and others. Be a learner who leads by example and challenge the status quo. Second, Trailhead. There's so much to learn on there, and there's always new content. And then 3, the Trailblazer community. There's so many amazing Trailblazers out there. Attend, Salesforce Saturday user groups and learn what others have to say.
Such great advice, Tony. But hey, before I let you go, I need more from you. Can you share with everyone your top 3 security management skill tips?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important to understand and utilize the health check. It's there. Second, know your company org security setting. And then 3, like what we talked about earlier, stay up to date with security best practice.
Tony, this was so fun. Thank you so much for being our guest today on How I Solved It. If you'd like to learn more about what you saw in today's episode, please visit admin.salesforce.com. With that, I'm Jillian Bruce, and I'll catch you next time in the cloud.